Hello, my dear students, how you doing? As you know, I'm going to have company here. Um, uh, we are going to see Empiricist team, that is John Locke and George Berkeley, okay? So, remember that, in my opinion, that this was a sexier and more sexy branch of philosophy. And we have my dear pal here to explain both philosophers. We are going to take you, men, as an example. So remember, today you are my assistant and my example. So if you want to, okay, easy, bro. So remember that according to John Locke, we don't born with innate ideas. With contents that are already written in our minds, okay? These innate ideas example, this innate ideas notion, remember that it's quite rational, okay? Like quite in a rational branch of philosophy, they thought about the innate ideas, and John Locke, as a good empiricist philosopher, is going to deny them, proposing that we don't have innate ideas, contents that we had when we were born. Like, for example, one philosopher like Plato would say that we already know what is the perfect idea of love, what is the perfect idea of friendship, what is the perfect idea of a dog. Okay, so let me did the class, man. So John Locke is going to deny all of that and going to propose a tabula rasa. What is a tabula rasa? John Locke is saying, man, that when we were born, our mind is like a blank sheet in which we are going to write the experiences acquired through the process of perception, to the process of knowledge on and sensory experience, okay? So imagine that already denied the innate ideas with this tabula rasa notion. We have this schema, the perceiver and the object, okay? This object, imagine that it's not a butterfly, now it's thunder, okay? So thunder is here, but imagine that you're going to see thunder. Okay, take it easy, bro. We're going to check thunder as you're the object, man. So you are the perceivers, and you're perceiving thunder, you know. So if you see thunder, you're going to see that he is brown and that he is beautiful. You know that. Come on, that he's beautiful. That you're beautiful, but that, for example, that he's brown. But how can we know that you are perceiving the same brown that thunder has? You know, perhaps everybody sees you, men, in another way. As you can see, that give us the distinction between two kind of qualities: the secondary qualities and the primary qualities. The secondary ones are inherent to the perceiver, okay? Depend of the perceiver. Perhaps my brown is different from your brown, and you see thunder differently, okay? Thunder. And the primary qualities are inherent to the object, okay? If you can see and distinguish the secondary qualities and the primary qualities, the secondary qualities depends of our senses, okay? Colors, think about the view, texture, the touch, sounds, taste. So this depends of the perceiver, are subjective, and solidity, extension, figure, mobility. It is supposed that those qualities are objective, are in the object, okay? All the objects has solidity, extension, and mobility. You can see all these qualities in any object, but not necessarily these qualities are the same one for everybody, okay? Stop. Okay. So we have that distinction, okay? Wait for it, man. So, man, come on, man. So that's basically John Locke, okay? We don't have innate ideas. We were born with a tabula rasa instead of the innate ideas. We don't have contents, and we write that experiences in that tabula rasa through our perception and experiences of the world, okay? So in that case, we don't have an eternal love idea, an eternal friendship idea like Plato would state. This tabula rasa idea, this tabula rasa notion was proposed first of all by Aristotle. Okay, so yes, we have a similarity between Locke and Aristotle in that sense. We saw that therefore we have a distinction between the secondary qualities and the primary qualities. The secondary qualities are inherent, are in the perceiver, and the primary qualities are in the object. Okay, that's the reason we can have different perspective of the same object, but the object is the same. Okay, in other words, we have a loss in this process of perception of the object itself. We cannot know completely the objects. We can't escape of a subjective point of view that could change of each subject. Okay, now with Berkeley, imagine that you are seeing thunder. The same object is thunder now, and he is like, okay, he's here. Okay, wait, okay. So try to imagine thunder without the secondary quality, without color, without texture, without sound or taste. Try to imagine thunder without that. What would you get? It seems that we can't imagine anything, any cup of coffee, anything, any library, anything, any book, without the secondary qualities. Therefore, George Berkeley is going to say both the secondary and the primary qualities are inherent to the perceiver. But if secondary and primary qualities are inherent to the perceiver, that noise, if you can hear that noises, is from thunder. Okay. The secondary and the primary qualities belongs to the perceiver, but what happens now with the object, in this case with thunder? It seems that everything is within the perceiver and we are losing the object. That seems to be like a solipsism, right? That everything is in my mind, that everything is in the perceiver. As you can see, George Berkeley is falling again in the solipsism as Descartes did. Okay, so this is going to give us the famous phrase of Berkeley that to be is to be perceived. I think that you cannot see this well, but this is the phrase to be is to be perceived, and that means that the things apparently don't exist if I'm not perceiving them. Okay, since the secondary and the primary qualities are within the subject, all the things that I perceived are in my mind, are mental perceptions of me, of mine. Okay, in that sense, to be is to be perceived. I cannot be sure about the things I'm not perceiving, and what I perceive only exists in my mind. Okay, that gives us a great issue, because what happens if I close my eyes and I'm not seeing thunder? Is thunder ceasing to exist, or thunder is still there? What if I'm sleeping? What if I don't perceive something? It doesn't exist. Remember that dilemma and that exercise that says that, for example, what will happen if a tree falls in the middle of the nowhere, in the woods, in the forest, and nobody hear it? You know, did the tree make a sound? At this point of the exposition, since we didn't perceive that, and since to be is to be perceived, George Berkeley would say, no, if you didn't perceive it, that is not in your mind. You didn't get any secondary and primary qualities, and you cannot be sure that that exists. So therefore, the tree didn't make any sound. But as well as Descartes, he felt in the solipsism, and he is going to break the solipsism. Guess with what? With the idea of God, that is the ultimate perceiver, okay? The ultimate perceiver, God, is another way to say that he is perceiving everything in any time and in any moment, okay? So therefore, since God is perceiving everything, I can be sure that even if I'm not seeing down there at this moment or for example, if I'm sleeping, or I don't know, if I'm not perceiving something, that thing is going to still exist, to exist, okay? Now, if you want to answer the question again, what will happen if the tree falls in the middle of nowhere, blah, 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 we will say that in this case, if God is perceiving everything, yes, even though we didn't perceive that tree made a sound. Why? Because God did perceive that tree falling, okay? So as you can see, George Berkeley reached a quite deep empiricist statement that to be perceived, but that gave him the problem of solipsism, as well as Descartes had that problem. And he used as well God as a metaphysical foundation, a metaphysical idea, to get out of that state, okay? So, quick review. Berkeley considers these qualities both in the perceiver, and therefore we cannot be sure about the external world, and that the only thing that exists is my mental perception, okay? But to assure the external world, Berkeley is going to propose God as the ultimate perceiving that perceives everything, okay? And that's the way he's going to break the solipsism, okay? So, well, as you can see, these two philosophers are close, and well, have as well certain differences, but that's it. And this man is already sleeping. You're sleeping? Come on. Well, thank you very much. See ya.